You touched on a few of the sort of tactics there, sort of including things like sales enablement and stuff like that. But and certainly when we talk to companies and product marketers, you do hear very different or slightly different versions of it. But what is product marketing to you specifically then?
For me, it should be such an easy question to answer. I'm still working with the positioning and messaging for product marketing, but really what I see it as is it's the function that helps you carve out a space for you to compete. What does that mean? Well, it means that you have a product, and many other people like you probably have a similar product. And that's what we're seeing. There's a lot of very similar products out there. But the product marketer can really help you get to the essence of what type of pains and gains your product solves. And more specifically, it can help you identify the job that your customers are hiring you to do. And if we look at a bunch of different industries, we see that, okay, one type of software is really good at solving one job, but another type of software that is essentially the same within the same category solves that job complete or solves a completely different job. So a company that you can take as an example is Gong.io. They're not calling themselves a CRM, and they're not calling themselves recording software. Those are two capabilities that they have within in their realm, but that's not how they position their product. Because if they would position themselves as a CRM, they're being compared to HubSpot, Salesforce, the usual suspects, right? And that's an incredibly difficult space to compete in. So what a product marketer can come in and help them do is figure out, okay, what is the job that we're solving for the customer? Really understand the pains and gains related to that job, and then reposition themselves as the center of that perfect solution, or as the perfect solution for that problem. And they've done that really well. Like you see the company growing is exceptionally fast. People get it. They don't think immediately CRM, but like their problem is something different. They want to understand the reality of their pipeline and get away from like those opinion-based decisions that are made day to day, because often that brings us in the wrong direction. They understand it and they communicate it, and that's what product marketing does. And then all of a sudden, you can look at the typical matrices that you have for your competitive landscape, and you can see where you stand out. And why is that important? Well, it's important because if you have your usual matrix of, hey, this is CRMs, then you're competing against Salesforce, HubSpot, or any other upcoming CRM. But really, that's not your play. That's not your game. Your game is playing within this very niche market for that very niche job. And when you look at it that way, you become much more focused, because then you don't worry about the upcoming competitors. You simply look at them and say, hey, do they complete the job that we are hired to do better than us? If not, okay, don't worry about them. We can look at them when they start to do that. But for now, let's focus on our playing field. So it's really just like carving out space is how I like to think about it.
Yeah, and if anybody hasn't checked out Gong's marketing, I would highly recommend it, because their marketing is top notch. And that example reminds me of kind of Drift, really. When Drift came to market with Intercom already in a category, they could have easily gone into that category, but actually instead of doing that, they kind of created a whole new category around, I think it was conversational marketing, wasn't it? So super interesting.